Now, please help me welcome Barbara Munlin. She is going to be doing our reading this morning. Barbara.
Thank you, Reverend Loretta. Should I bring this, or can everybody? I'll bring it over. Today I'm going to read from a book entitled Creative Meditation. Creative Meditation by Carlton Whitehead. And in keeping with the theme of today's lesson of creation, a painter envisions a picture. He knows that the composition in his consciousness will determine the quality and outline of the finished product. With utmost care, he mentally paints in what he wants and paints out what he does not want. Colors are selected that will convey the desired feeling. All this is done before a brush touches the blank canvas. All that follows emanates from his inner imagination. Tomorrow, and each tomorrow of the year, is a blank canvas on which you will paint, by word and action, a picture that will correspond to what you consciously and unconsciously envision. You are creating tomorrow today, but you have the privilege of changing any color or detail before the word is spoken or the action taken. What is your picture of tomorrow? What do you consciously and unconsciously expect to happen? Does it correspond to the desires of your heart? Before the brush touches the canvas, paint out what does not, paint in what does, using lavishly the colors of harmony, beauty, and joy. Mind is forever creating anew. The formless is eternally taking form. Unconditioned life is continually becoming conditioned. Mind, moving as my thoughts, creates my experience. The formless takes the form of my ideas. Life flowing through my whole being is conditioned by qualities in my consciousness. This creative forming, conditioning action is neither past nor future. It is always now. This means that my future is wide open, unfashioned, unfettered, untrammeled. My tomorrows are blank canvases. I hold the Creator's brush. I decline to sketch images other than of rich experiences I desire. I refuse all forms that are less than the best I know. Firmly rejected are all qualities opposed to the glory of living. My future begins now. The ideas, my thoughts are loving, healthy, and prosperous. The ideas I envision are constructive, expansive, beneficial to all, as they outline the highest good I can imagine. My consciousness is filled with qualities of cooperation, beauty, wholeness, harmony, and joy. With enthusiasm, I live the life that mind is creating through me.
We also have our Wednesday nights, and that is with Barbara Munlin, our Practitioner, How to Use the Science of Mind. That's in the middle of the week on Wednesday night at the Unitarian Center on West 76th Street. It begins at 6:30, and you can sign up in the back. If you still haven't taken the class, that's still open, and so is the Power of Decision. So any one of those, if you are interested, they're there for you, okay? So now it's time for us to wish each other a happy Sunday. So let's wish each other a happy
Good morning. Okay. Okay, so with this song, I invite you to close your eyes and take in the experience and just take in the words and the sound. Allow it to move you, to inspire you, and to connect with the music and the words. Thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful music. Thank you so much. God is. That is so true. And now it is time for us to have a wonderful
Thank you very much. It is a privilege to do this talk today. It is something that I really like thinking about and talking about. I read a lot of books. Creative Mind by Ernest Holmes, How to Use the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, and Love and Law. I recommend that you read these books. They will help you in your spiritual journey, in developing your spiritual practice. I like to call my treatments for myself my spiritual practice. I get up in the morning and I do my spiritual practice. I was calling it at one point spiritual work, and then that work means, effort and a little struggle. A practice is something you enjoy doing. It's light, it's refreshing, it's innovative. So I do my spiritual practice. And we all need to have a spiritual practice. We do, in some ways, have one. And sometimes it is not working for us because we're not using it in the correct way. In the Science of Mind textbook, it states, creation is God making something out of himself or itself by becoming the thing he creates. The thought of God coming into expression must go on forever. God is eternal. We must understand that creation does not mean making something out of nothing, but means passing substance into form, which sets the word in motion, sets the law in motion to create the thing that we desire. The word is the key. The words that we speak to ourselves and the words that we speak about ourselves and the words that we speak about anything that we encounter. It sets a pattern. We are all created by this great intelligence. It states that in the beginning God created the world and all there is in the world. And he looked around and he stated we should create man. And he created man in his image and likeness with all the attributes of God. Each one of us have all of these attributes. We have the spirit of love, of joy, of happiness, of prosperity, of health and wellness. But how do we use these attributes? How do we use them, and do we recognize them and appreciate them? That is the key. This is the beauty of this creation that we're part of. God gave us choice, free will, to determine the pattern, the functioning, the operation of one's life. I am the creator in my life. You are the creator in your life. And we have the choice of creating a wonderful life, a joyous life, a prosperous life. The law is impersonal. The law of the universe is impersonal. It does not say to me, Fanny Munlin, you should not do this, or you should not do that, or you should do something else. You shouldn't make derogatory statements about yourself. Because once I make those statements, the law accepts it, and it comes forth. It comes forth as people, as circumstances, or events. And some events we wonder, how did I get into this? Well, it's the way we think. It's the pattern of our thinking. When I was growing up, and we were raised as Episcopalians, and it was stated The Bible says to watch your thoughts. Watch and pray. I had absolutely no idea. I'm saying watch and pray. What am I watching for? And how do I do this? How do I watch? What do I watch? The meaning is to watch the way I think. The thinking pattern, my thinking pattern. If I am thinking negatively all the time, how can I expect positive results? How can I? And then I'll say, oh, it's because my mother didn't do this, or my father was this, or my brother was that. No, it is my thinking. It is my determination. It is my gift from God to decide what I want in my life. Do I want loving friends? Then if I want loving friends, I must be loving. I must recognize that intuitive love of God. I must use those faculties that we have that are given to us by God. We have the ability to imagine, imagination, intuition. I was speaking to a friend and she said, you know, women have great intuition and men do not have intuition. And I said, that's not true. Women have intuition, but they pay attention to their intuition. Men have intuition, but they ignore it. We all come here with the same qualities, the same set of skills. It's the use of those skills, the recognition, the appreciation of who and what we are. We are an intelligent, incredible people, but we separate ourselves by age, by size, by wealth, by lack of education, by this, by... We have so many labels that sometimes we don't know who we are unless we look at the label. That's true. We don't know who we are. Who am I? What does my label say? But that's not who we are. We are creative in an image that is all power. All power. And we have that power. He said, I give you dominion over the earth. Name the things on earth. And we did. We did. We got a name for everything on the planet. And then he says, go out and live. And then he sent a prophet to guarantee that we learn something. And he said, I came so that you may have life more abundantly, not less, but more. And did we accept that? Oh, no, he couldn't possibly mean that I should have more. I can't have more. She doesn't have more. She doesn't have more. We don't have more. I never grew up with more. Don't know more if they walked and knocked me down. But you can have it. But the way we think, I work at the UN, and they did a remodeling, or upgrading of the building. And one thing that I thought was incredibly good, they created a quiet room where you can go and meditate. You can go and connect to spirit. No radio, no talking, no phones, no cell phones, no chatter. It is perfectly a wonderful space. It's overlooking the East River. And people take advantage of it. I've taken advantage of it. It is time that we as humans take time to do and to meditate on who we are. We are incredibly talented, intelligent, personified. But do we take the time to connect to that inward spirit, that inner voice? There is a voice in all of us that tells us exactly when we're doing something wrong. I had an experience this week, and I asked my sister to treat for me, and I called her up and I told her my job called for the registrations to the 62nd Commission on the Status of Women. The theme, empowering rural women and girls. And we have a new system. And I could not work this system. And I've been registering people for whatever. I couldn't work it. And I said to her, I can't, every time I put my password in, it says wrong password. And I said, what is happening? This is my password. She said, the mind that created that system is the same mind that created you. I said, you're right. The same mind that created that system that I am having all the difficulty with is the same mind that created me. So somewhere in me, I know how to do this. But I had gotten off balance. And we do get off balance. I'm not saying we don't. But there's a way to come back to center. There's a way to figure out what to do and how to do it. The beauty of the Spirit of God is that we can always redo, reboot, change. The one thing that we can do is change the pattern of any activity, anything in our lives. Just think of it. It is not permanent. You can do and change all things. In Ernest Holmes' In Love and Law, it has a question a woman asked. If she believes that she cannot, she said to Ernest Holmes, I believe that I cannot become a teacher. I don't think I have the ability, nor the skills, nor whatever it takes. He says, if you believe that you cannot become that, even when you get the degree, even when you get the education, you can't become it. Because you have put in motion this boundary, this blockage. How often do we block ourselves? I am going to say to you, I block myself and then I have to unblock myself. How do I do that? Through spiritual mind treatment. When I discovered this teaching, and I talk about this teaching, and I'll say, and I pop up like a cork on water, saying it works. It does work, but it is self-work. In all the religious activities or training I have gone through, it is the minister who comes in and says, I have resolved your sins. But then I go home and the same problem that he said he's resolved is still there. Why is that? Because I am the creator of my life. I can use the law to free myself or to bind myself. The law is impersonal, doesn't care. It is up to me to use the law in a way that makes me and you to use it to make your life easy. It is difficult sometimes to examine one's own beliefs. It is difficult to take a good, solid assessment of your belief. But it is also worth the effort because you understand your nature. You understand that invisible power that forces, that wakes you up in the morning, that encouraged you to move forward. There is something in each one of us that is so divine, that is so perfect in every way. It is not somewhat good, it is not partially good, it is all good, perfect, whole, and complete in every way. I am beginning to recognize that and appreciate the Spirit in me. And I appreciate the Spirit in everyone that I meet. Because we are all the same in spirit. There is no big, no large. We are all the same. There is a God that loves everybody equally, eternally. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I had a near-death experience, and it changed the way I think. You leave this body. This body is the vehicle for this environment, but there is an ongoing process. There is an ongoing process of life. Life does not cease to exist. It is always ongoing, ever changing into new and different forms. When I realized, and I had difficulty, I had a lot of problems relating to people when I would say something, because it would say, you've got to do this tomorrow. And I said, no, there is no tomorrow. There is only now. And I had to realize that I was at a level of consciousness that I could only think in the now and operate in the now. That all we have is the now. And we should appreciate that. But we can bring ourselves back to accommodate the thoughts that there are people who are not where I was. And I came back to operate, to function in the environment that says, I need to plan 5 weeks in advance for something, and I need to do this 6 months for something. I've learned to do it, but I've held on to the fact that I am an ongoing Spirit of God. And you are an ongoing Spirit of God. Whomever you are, wherever you may be on the planet, that is who we are as human beings. It is a wonderful thought. It is a wonderful knowingness. It gives you the joy of knowing that there is an ongoing Spirit within each and every one of us. I like spiritual mind treatment. I rely on spiritual mind treatment. No matter what situation, spiritual mind treatment I do. Now, some of us say, well, I don't know how to do. We do spiritual mind treatment. We do treatments for ourselves all the time. But what I am saying is to think about how you think, your pattern of thinking. If you want positive things to come, you must do positive thinking. You can't not get the right result through negative. And you find, if you're in company with people who are constantly negative, get out right away. Get out right away. Just say, no, that's not who I am and what I am. I read where Charles Barker would say, if someone came to him and said, and asked for a treatment, and said that I am sick and I know that this is not going to help me, and he would say, there's not a word of truth in it. What you're saying is not to himself. He didn't say it to the client, but he would deny the statement. We have to deny the negative. We can't look at the negative. The more you see negative, the more negative you get. The more positive you see, the more positive you get. I have something I want to read here from this book. Here it is. And how to use science of mind, and I again recommend it to everyone. And I say that it's really great. And I'm going to read this to us, to everyone here. This is what I hope we would say and remember. I align myself with the power of goodness and right action. I abide in perfect and complete faith in God as my ever-present good. I turn from all fear, turn joyfully and resolutely to faith, realizing that light is immune to darkness, that the night has no power over the day, that dawn dissipates the shadows of midnight. I turn my attention to the light eternal without struggle, realizing that light shining through the dark places of my consciousness will dissipate them, and that I shall walk in that light in which there is no darkness. Not only shall I walk in this light, I shall radiate it. I shall impart it to others. I shall remember the saying, let your light so shine before men that they, seeing your good works, they shall glorify your Father which is in heaven. And I shall remember that the Father which is in heaven is that heaven which is in me. And so ends the lesson.
Wonderful lesson. I love that lesson. That was beautiful. Very inspirational. And remember something, the words that came through me from that lesson, what you set in motion. I love that. I really do. What are you setting in motion? Stop and think about that for yourself and for your life. What are you setting in motion on a daily basis? Very powerful lesson. Thank you so much, Manny, for that. That was beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to have our offering affirmation, and then
Okay, so for this song, I'm probably going to need your help. And so you guys, I won't even teach you the part because you'll recognize the song as soon as I start singing it. And once you know your part, just come on in. Need your voices. All right. No worries. So lead right into it. I say bridge and right back into chorus. Okay? And feel free to clap along when that comes in, but not yet. When the music runs. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. Go and take a break. I'm a hot air balloon about to go to space. Make the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. wanna do. Hold up. You guys are not playing with me. You're supposed to be singing with me right now. And you guys are just looking and clapping. Some people are clapping. Some people are excited that the song is happening. But we got to get into this. If you're feeling happy, it's the first month of the year. It's 2018. We're creating. And so you guys know that part that says, because I'm happy. That's what you guys got to sing. Hold on, let me teach them that part. Yeah, so everyone sings that together. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because, and clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Feel free to dance. Oh, you guys are doing good. All right, now I'm going back to the next part. Very good. We're not there yet, Mara. Here comes that news, talking this and that. Hey, no matter what you say, no go talking that. I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No waste to you, no one waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Can't nothing bring me down. My love is too high, bring me down. Can't nothing bring me down. My love is too happy, 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 happy. Come on, happy, happy. Come on, happy, happy. You're what? You're what? Happy, happy, happy. Of course, 'cause I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like happiness is your truth. Hey. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like happiness is your truth, yeah. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. There you go.